What happens when a millionaire Instagram influencer's boyfriend brutally attacks a homeless Iraq War veteran outside a luxury restaurant, and she films the entire assault while laughing and asking her 4.2 million followers to smash that like button? This entitled couple walked into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, treating it like another social media opportunity, ready to turn their arrest into content. But when Judge Caprio played the full, unedited video that showed what really happened, and when the homeless veteran revealed the one thing he was protecting that made the entire courtroom weep, what happened next became the most viral moment in Providence legal history. The defendant sat there, the boyfriend smirking while scrolling through his phone, the influencer checking her makeup in a compact mirror, as their attorney whispered, "This will blow over. Your followers will forget in a week." The packed courtroom watched in disgust, but what nobody knew was that the 58-year-old homeless veteran they assaulted was sitting in the back corner, wearing the same torn jacket from that night, holding something in his hands that would expose these defendants' cruelty and transform this case into a national conversation about privilege, compassion, and what we've become as a society. Before we dive into this explosive story, less than 5% of you watching are actually subscribed. If you believe influencers shouldn't be above the law, if you honor our veterans regardless of their circumstances, and if you think social media fame doesn't excuse criminal behavior, hit that subscribe button right now. What Judge Caprio does in this courtroom will be talked about for years. It's a freezing December evening when this story begins, outside Marseille, one of Providence's most expensive French restaurants, the kind of place where entrees start at $85 and reservations book months in advance. Christmas lights twinkle on the historic buildings. Well-dressed couples walk by, shopping bags from boutique stores in their hands. Huddled against the restaurant's exterior wall, trying to stay warm, is James Mitchell, 58 years old, homeless, wearing a tattered army jacket and holding a small bundle wrapped in an old blanket. He's not aggressive, not begging loudly, just sitting with a cardboard sign that reads, "Iraq War Veteran, Hungry. Anything helps. God bless." Exiting the restaurant after a $600 dinner complete with champagne and caviar comes Trevor Vaughn, 26 years old, and his girlfriend, Madison Blake, 24. Madison is Instagram famous 4.2 million followers, known for posting luxury lifestyle content, designer hauls, and day-in-the-life videos. Her account at Madison Lux Life is monetized through brand deals worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Trevor is her boyfriend, equally privileged, living off a trust fund, driving a Porsche, and known for his volatile temper. The case file shows what happens next, and it makes Judge Frank Caprio physically ill when he reads it. As Trevor and Madison walk past James Mitchell, the homeless veteran quietly says, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, could you spare anything? I'm a veteran, just trying to get a meal." Trevor stops, looks down at James with disgust, and says loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, "Get a job, loser. Stop begging and do something with your life." Madison, instead of walking away or showing any compassion, pulls out her phone and starts filming. "Oh my God, babe, there's a homeless guy harassing us," she says to her phone, narrating for her followers. "This is so gross. We literally just had the most amazing dinner, and now this." James, humiliated but desperate, tries again. "Sir, I'm not trying to bother you. I'm a veteran. I just need help." That's when Trevor snaps. "I don't care if you're a veteran or the Pope. Get away from me." He kicks James's cardboard sign, scattering the few coins people had dropped into his cup. And here's where it gets truly horrific. James reaches for the bundle wrapped in the blanket, trying to protect it. Trevor, thinking James is reaching for something to attack him with, grabs the veteran by his jacket and slams him against the brick wall. Madison is still filming, her voice excited. "Oh my God, you guys, Trevor's handling this homeless situation. This is crazy." Trevor punches James twice in the face, then shoves him to the ground. James, trying to protect the bundle, curls around it as Trevor kicks him in the ribs. Once, twice, 3 times. "Babe, you're so strong," Madison says to the camera, laughing. "Like and follow if you think homeless people shouldn't harass diners." Witnesses are screaming. Someone calls 911. But Trevor doesn't stop. He reaches down and tries to grab the bundle James is protecting. "What's in there, old man?" "Drugs, booze. Let me see." James, bleeding from his mouth and nose, pleads, "Please don't, please." But Trevor rips the bundle away. The blanket falls open, and what's inside makes several witnesses gasp. It's a puppy, a tiny, maybe 8-week-old golden retriever puppy, shivering and scared. Trevor holds the puppy by its scruff, dangling it in the air. "This is what you're protecting? A dog?" He laughs. "You're homeless and you have a dog? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen." James, despite his injuries, struggles to his feet. "Please give her back. She's all I have, please." Madison is still filming, zooming in on the puppy. You guys, he has a puppy. A homeless guy with a puppy. This is insane content. Trevor, in a moment of pure cruelty, throws the puppy toward the street. James lunges, catching the puppy before it hits the pavement, taking a hard fall himself that results in a dislocated shoulder. By the time police arrive, Trevor and Madison are back in Trevor's Porsche, Madison editing the video on her phone. This is going to get so many views, she says. The video she posts is edited to make it look like James aggressively approached them, that Trevor was defending himself, that they were the victims. She captions it, "Scary moment when a homeless man attacked my boyfriend outside dinner. Stay safe out there." Stay safe. Luxury lifestyle, date night. The video gets 2.3 million views in 6 hours. Her followers leave comments like, "Trevor is so brave," and "homeless people are so entitled," and "you handled that perfectly." But here's what Madison and Trevor didn't know. 3 witnesses filmed the entire assault from different angles. The restaurant's security camera captured everything, and those videos tell a very different story. When the real footage goes viral, showing Trevor's unprovoked attack and Madison's gleeful filming, public outrage explodes. The Providence Police Department arrests both of them. Trevor is charged with assault and battery, animal cruelty, and destruction of property. Madison is charged as an accessory and with inciting violence through social media. Now 3 weeks later, they're in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom. The courtroom is absolutely mobbed. News crews from every major network, animal rights activists, veteran advocacy groups, social media commentators, and citizens furious about influencer culture have all shown up. Security had to move the proceeding to the largest courtroom in the building. Sitting in the back corner, almost invisible, is James Mitchell. He's wearing the same torn army jacket, cleaned as best he could. His face still shows fading bruises. His arm is in a sling from the dislocated shoulder, and in his lap, wrapped in a newer blanket donated by a local shelter, is the puppy, now named Hope. At 10 a.m. sharp, the bailiff calls the case. The state of Rhode Island versus Trevor James Vaughn and Madison Elizabeth Blake, charged with assault and battery, animal cruelty, accessory to assault, and incitement through social media. Trevor and Madison walk in like they're arriving at a red carpet event. Trevor is wearing a $3,000 suit. Madison is in designer everything, her hair professionally styled, her makeup perfect. She even pauses to smile at the cameras, practicing her serious but sympathetic face. Behind them walks their legal team, 2 attorneys from a firm that specializes in representing celebrities and wealthy clients. The lead attorney, Patricia Chambers, is known for getting charges reduced or dismissed for high-profile clients. As they pass James Mitchell in the back corner, Madison actually pulls out her phone and tries to discreetly take a photo, likely for her Instagram story. A court officer immediately confiscates it. Judge Frank Caprio enters, and the courtroom rises. When everyone sits, the temperature in the room feels 10 degrees colder. Judge Caprio's face is set in an expression that court watchers recognize. This is Judge Caprio at his most serious. "Mr. Vaughn, Ms. Blake," Judge Caprio begins, his voice like steel. "You're both charged with serious crimes. Mr. Vaughn, how do you plead?" Trevor stands, his posture casual, almost bored. "Not guilty, Your Honor. This whole thing is completely blown out of proportion." Judge Caprio's eyebrow raises. "Blown out of proportion. I see. Ms. Blake, how do you plead?" Madison stands, and she's clearly prepared a performance. Her voice trembles, tears already forming. "Not guilty, Your Honor. I'm so sorry this happened. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. I was scared and I just reacted." The crocodile tears, the trembling voice, it's all very rehearsed. But Judge Caprio has seen the videos. He knows exactly who these people are. "Ms. Blake," Judge Caprio says, his tone cutting through her act like a knife, "you were scared, so you filmed a homeless veteran being assaulted and posted it online asking for likes." Madison's attorney jumps in. "Your Honor, my client was in shock. She didn't know what she was doing. The video was posted impulsively." "Impulsively," Judge Caprio repeats, with a caption, hashtags, and editing to remove the parts showing Mr. Vaughn as the aggressor. That's quite an impulsive production. The attorney shifts uncomfortably. "Your Honor, if we could present our case—" "Oh, we'll present cases," Judge Caprio interrupts. "But first, I want everyone in this courtroom to see the full, unedited footage, all of it, because I've reviewed every angle, and I want there to be absolutely no confusion about what happened that night." He signals to the court clerk, who begins playing the videos on multiple monitors throughout the courtroom. The footage plays in chronological order. First, the restaurant security camera showing Trevor and Madison leaving, laughing, clearly in good spirits. Then James Mitchell sitting peacefully against the wall, not approaching anyone, just existing. Then the approach, James's quiet, respectful request for help. Trevor's immediate hostility. Madison pulling out her phone, not to call for help, but to create content. The assault unfolds in horrifying detail. Trevor's unprovoked violence, James trying to protect the puppy, the vicious kicks, Madison's commentary encouraging Trevor, laughing, treating a brutal assault like entertainment. Then the moment Trevor rips the puppy away and throws it, James's desperate lunge, the sickening sound of his shoulder dislocating as he hits the pavement. Finally, footage from a witness's phone showing Trevor and Madison in the Porsche afterward, Madison reviewing her footage, both of them laughing about going viral. When the videos end, the courtroom is silent except for the sound of people crying. Even the hardened court officers look shaken. Judge Caprio removes his glasses slowly. "Mr. Vaughn, Ms. Blake, you just watched the same footage I watched. Do you still believe this is blown out of proportion?" Trevor's smirk is gone, but his arrogance remains. "Your Honor, I felt threatened. That man approached us aggressively." "Aggressively," Judge Caprio says. "The video shows him sitting on the ground saying, 'Excuse me, sir.' That's your definition of aggressive?" "He could have had a weapon," Trevor insists. "He had a puppy, Mr. Vaughn, an 8-week-old puppy that he was trying to keep warm, and you threw that puppy toward traffic like it was garbage." Madison speaks up, her voice still trying for sympathy. "Your Honor, I didn't know Trevor was going to do that. I was just filming because I was scared." Judge Caprio turns to her, and his expression makes her flinch. "Ms. Blake, I counted 17 times in that footage where you encouraged the assault. You said, and I quote, 'Babe, you're so strong, get him.' You laughed when Mr. Mitchell was bleeding on the ground. You asked your followers to like and follow while a veteran was being beaten. Does that sound like fear to you?" Madison's tears dry up instantly, replaced by frustration. "Your Honor, you don't understand social media. My followers expect content. I was just creating content," Judge Caprio finishes. "You were creating content from a man suffering, a veteran suffering." He stands up and walks around to the front of the bench. This is the moment everyone has been waiting for. "Before we continue," Judge Caprio says, "I want to introduce you to someone, Mr. James Mitchell. Would you please come forward?" The courtroom turns as James Mitchell slowly stands, cradling the puppy in his good arm. He walks down the center aisle, his limp visible from the assault, his face scarred by years of hardship and recent violence. Trevor and Madison see him approaching, and for the first time, something like discomfort crosses their faces. James stands in front of the court, the puppy's small head peeking out from the blanket. "Mr. Mitchell," Judge Caprio says with deep respect, "would you please tell the court who you are?" James's voice is rough from years of living outside, but steady. "Your Honor, my name is James Robert Mitchell. I served in the United States Army from 1985 to 2007. I did 3 tours in Iraq. I was part of the combat engineers, clearing IEDs. I watched friends die. I came home with PTSD and a traumatic brain injury. I lost my family, my job, my home. I've been on the streets for 6 years. The courtroom is absolutely silent. And this," James lifts the puppy slightly, "is Hope. Someone abandoned her in a box outside the shelter where I sometimes eat. She was dying from cold. I took her because I couldn't let another innocent thing suffer. She's all I have. She gives me a reason to wake up every day." Judge Caprio nods. "Mr. Mitchell, can you tell the court what you were protecting when Mr. Vaughn assaulted you?" "Hope," James says simply. "I was protecting Hope. She's just a baby. When he started kicking me, I didn't care about getting hurt. I just couldn't let him hurt her." Madison's attorney tries to object. "Your Honor, this is very sympathetic, but it's not relevant to—" "Not relevant?" Judge Caprio's voice thunders through the courtroom. "Counselor, your clients assaulted a combat veteran who was protecting a puppy, filmed it for entertainment, and posted it online to profit from it. Mr. Mitchell's humanity, his service, his compassion, even in the midst of his own suffering, that is absolutely relevant." He turns back to James. "Mr. Mitchell, what happened to you after the assault?" "I spent 2 nights in the hospital, dislocated shoulder, 3 broken ribs, concussion. The shelter let me and Hope stay for a few weeks, but I'm back on the streets now. We're together, though. That's what matters." "Your Honor," Trevor's attorney stands, "my client has expressed willingness to pay Mr. Mitchell's medical bills and provide compensation." "Compensation," Judge Caprio repeats. "How much compensation does it take to erase trauma, to restore dignity, to undo the humiliation of being beaten while millions watched online?" The attorney has no answer. Judge Caprio addresses Trevor and Madison directly. "Here's what I want to know. When you went to bed that night after posting that video, after reading comments from your followers praising you for handling a homeless veteran, did either of you think about Mr. Mitchell? Did you wonder if he was okay? Did you care? Silence. I'll take that as a no, Judge Caprio says, because that's the problem, isn't it? To you, Mr. Mitchell wasn't a person. He was content. He was a prop in your luxury lifestyle narrative. His suffering was entertainment for your followers. Madison tries again. Your Honor, I donate to charity. I've done fundraisers on my Instagram. I'm not a bad person. Judge Caprio's response is devastating. Ms. Blake, you filmed a man being beaten and asked people to smash the like button. The fact that you can't see what's wrong with that tells me everything about who you are. But guys, Judge Caprio suddenly says, looking directly at the cameras in the courtroom, before I continue, I want to ask all of you watching this, whether you're here in person or you'll see this later online. When did we become a society that values likes more than lives? When did we decide that content creation justifies cruelty? Comment below and tell me, have you ever witnessed someone treating a homeless person with contempt? Have you seen influencers exploit others for views? Share your stories because this needs to stop. He turns back to the defendants. Mr. Vaughn's father, is he here today? A distinguished-looking man in his 60s stands in the gallery. I'm here, Your Honor, William Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn, you're Trevor's father? Yes, Your Honor. What do you do for a living? I'm a hedge fund manager, Your Honor. And you've provided your son with substantial financial support throughout his life? Yes, Your Honor. Trevor has a trust fund. He's never wanted for anything. Judge Caprio nods. That's obvious. Mr. Vaughn, do you have anything to say about your son's actions? William Vaughn looks at his son with a mixture of shame and anger. Your Honor, I'm horrified. I raised Trevor with every advantage, and he's turned into someone I don't recognize. I've already told him he's cut off financially. No more trust fund, no more allowances, no more bailouts. He needs to learn to survive on his own. Trevor's face goes white. Dad, you can't. I can, and I have, his father interrupts. You assaulted a veteran who served this country while you've never worked a day in your life. You disgust me. Judge Caprio looks at Madison. Ms. Blake, are your parents here? A middle-aged couple stands hesitantly. We're here, Your Honor, the mother says. Karen and Robert Blake. What do you think about your daughter's actions? Karen Blake is crying. Your Honor, we're ashamed. We raised Madison to be kind, to help others. This person in that video, that's not the daughter we raised. We don't know what happened. Social media happened, Judge Caprio says. Fame happened. The belief that followers and likes matter more than human decency happened. He walks back to his bench and sits. Here is what's going to happen. Trevor James Vaughn, I find you guilty of assault and battery, animal cruelty, and reckless endangerment. You will serve 18 months in the Rhode Island Department of Corrections. Trevor's jaw drops. 18 months? Your Honor, I'm not finished. You will also pay full restitution for Mr. Mitchell's medical bills, totaling $47,000. You will complete 500 hours of community service at the Providence Fiva Hospital and homeless shelters, and you will work, real work, minimum wage jobs, to pay off every penny you owe. Madison Elizabeth Blake, I find you guilty as an accessory to assault and inciting violence through social media. You will serve 12 months, with 6 months suspended contingent on good behavior. Madison gasps. Your Honor, I have sponsorship deals, content schedules. My followers, your followers, Judge Caprio interrupts, will survive without you. And maybe, just maybe, they'll learn that there are consequences for cruelty. Furthermore, he continues, both of you will have your social media accounts frozen for the duration of your sentences. No posting, no content creation, no influence. You're going to learn to exist without validation from strangers online. You will also create mandatory public apologies, unedited, to be posted on every platform where your original video appeared. You will explain what you did, why it was wrong, and what you're doing to change. And finally, Judge Caprio says, when you're released, you will both work with homeless outreach programs, not for publicity, not for content, but because you need to understand that every person on the street is a human being with a story, with dignity, with value. He looks at James Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, I'm ordering the defendants to pay you $100,000 in damages beyond medical bills. Additionally, I'm connecting you with the Providence Veterans Services Office to help you access the housing and medical care you've earned through your service. James Mitchell's eyes fill with tears. Your Honor, I don't need money. I just want hope to be safe. You deserve both, Mr. Mitchell. You served this country. You protected an innocent animal. You showed more character in that moment than these defendants have shown in their entire lives. Judge Caprio addresses the packed courtroom one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're living in an age where people will do anything for views, for likes, for followers. But let me be clear, no amount of social media fame gives you the right to treat another human being with cruelty. No number of followers makes you better than someone experiencing homelessness. No brand deal excuses violence. Mr. Mitchell served this country. He cleared explosives so others could live safely. He came home broken, and instead of help, he found indifference. And when he finally found something to love, a tiny puppy that needed him, these defendants tried to take even that away. This case isn't just about assault. It's about who we are as a society. It's about what we value. And if we value likes more than lives, we've lost our way. The courtroom erupts in applause. Veterans are saluting. People are crying. As officers approach to take Trevor and Madison into custody, Trevor turns to his father one last time. "Dad, please, don't do this." William Vaughn shakes his head. "You did this to yourself, son. Maybe prison will teach you what I couldn't." Madison is crying, real tears now, not performed ones. Her perfect makeup runs down her face as reality sets in. James Mitchell approaches Judge Caprio as the courtroom begins to empty. "Your Honor, thank you for seeing me, for making them see me." Judge Caprio shakes his hand warmly. "Mr. Mitchell, you are always visible. They just chose not to look. That's on them, not you." He kneels down to look at Hope, the tiny puppy who started it all. "You're a good girl, Hope. You've got a good dad." The puppy licks his hand, and Judge Caprio smiles, the warmth returning to his eyes. 6 months later, James Mitchell moved into veteran housing arranged through the court's intervention. Hope, now fully grown, became his registered emotional support animal. James began speaking at schools about homelessness, PTSD, and the importance of treating everyone with dignity. Trevor Vaughn's trust fund was indeed cut off. He works at a warehouse, earning minimum wage, slowly paying his debt to James. His father visits him in prison monthly, not to comfort him, but to ensure he's learning. Madison Blake lost 3.8 million followers when her accounts were frozen. The sponsorships dried up. The luxury lifestyle disappeared. In prison, she volunteers in the library and, according to guards, is slowly beginning to understand that her worth isn't measured in likes. And Judge Frank Caprio's decision that day sparked a national conversation about influencer culture, homelessness, and how we treat veterans. Thousands of people were inspired to volunteer at shelters, to donate to veteran services, to look at homeless individuals not as problems to avoid, but as people deserving of compassion. If this story moved you, if you believe social media fame doesn't excuse cruelty, share this video with everyone you know. Like it if you support Judge Caprio's decision. Subscribe for more stories proving that justice can transform hearts and change society. Remember James Mitchell. Remember hope. Remember that every person you pass on the street has a story, has value, has dignity. That's the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio. That's the resilience of James Mitchell. And that's the lesson Trevor and Madison learned the hard way. Justice served. Hearts changed, lives transformed. Comment below with your thoughts. Let's start a conversation about how we treat the most vulnerable among us.